Well, I started coaching. The first time I started coaching was actually while I was in college. I went to school on a track scholarship, and my last year, my senior year, our coach left, and I was asked to step up by the athletic director and take the role of student assistant coach. So that was my first coaching job in college back in '95.
Yeah. So what was that? What was that first year like when you were coaching?
Well, it was a little rough at first, as you can imagine, since most of them were about my age. But because we had a lot of people who were serious about the sport, as long as they got the workout, we all fell in line pretty good, and it worked out very well.
Okay, how did the team do?
We did pretty good. We were a young team. I think I was probably the only senior. That's why I had to be the one to step up. But we did pretty good. I'm not sure what place we finished in the conference, but it was a learning experience. I'll leave it at that.
Big Hill track team, one of the better teams in Atlanta.
We're an up-and-coming team. I don't know if we're one of the better ones, but we're up and coming. We do pretty good for now, but we have a lot to work on.
Okay, all right. Well, I tell you what. Well, from what I saw almost about 5 or 6 state records set at the GRPA. Tell me about the preparation for that week. How do you get prepared for a big track meet like that? A lot of expectations going in. A lot of your high-profile runners. How do you prepare your kids?
We had to get them mentally ready. It was more mental at that time because they had been training all season. They started a little bit early. They started in around mid-January, and the training was pretty much conditioning for a while. Once they got in shape, we did a lot of speed development and worked on a lot of form. And so at the end of the season, we really did nothing but speed work and mental work, getting them mentally ready, mentally tough, getting them mentally prepared. Once they were mentally there, it was really up to them. They did the work. They're the ones who, they're the ones who broke 7 records. It was 7.
Yeah.
So but they did good. They really kind of pulled it together at the end. We didn't have a lot of focus issues. They were mentally tough and ready.
I noticed at your practices are intense as far as you're involved.
Yes.
And the great thing is you have so much talent now. You've built so much talent. How do you keep your kids motivated?
Well, they motivate each other. We have a bunch of high achievers. They've done a lot on their own, and they challenge each other at practice. A lot of our practices are like track meets because we have in each age group we have somebody who is working. We have somebody who's working hard, and if you want to get on that level, you have to work with them. So they really push each other and challenge each other. We do recognize that we do push them a little bit harder than everybody else, but that's because they're capable and they are able to handle it. Like I said, they are mentally tough.
I did an interview earlier with the Berry boys, and they were talking about how they look at you kind of like, as a father away from home, as far as what you do, as far as taking care of them and all those type of things. And I know you give that type of individual attention to all of your kids. What is that special relationship like with them?
Well, it's a real good one. It's one that Rob and I, he's my partner. We've groomed them from their first time on the track. We always tease them about how lazy and chubby and fat they were when they started, and they've come a long way. But it's not just them; it's a whole team. We have a lot of people who, everybody everybody has something that makes them tick, and we have to tap into that. And they've done it in different sports. We have to kind of channel that. They come from a great family. Their father's a football coach. He was a successful athlete in his own right. Their older brother, he's on scholarship at Tennessee, and they've basically been groomed for it. So they were easy. We have some that are challenges, but they all get the same one-on-one individualized attention. We find what makes them tick, and we just keep pushing them.
Tell me about your other coaches. How important is it that their involvement?
Well, we wouldn't be what we are. This is not a one-man show at all. Robert and I started this in 2005 with a summer program with only 5 kids, and it's blown up from there. We would not be able to do what we did without the staff that we have. We have the most dedicated parents and the most dedicated staff of probably any team in Georgia, and that's really, I always make the saying, especially when the kids are late and that kind of thing, I always say that they don't have driver's license. They're the ones who, really we can get on them, but it's the parents that are the ones that are getting them here and that are making sure that they're where they need to be. Rob and I, we've been blessed with the fact that we have people like Kareem Cam Bryce and John Willingham, John Hunter, you know, who have all stepped up anytime, anywhere, for anything. And so, you know, our staff, you know, we're a staff that's in constant learning. We know we're not the best, but that's what we're striving to do, and we learn. We're in a constant state of learning, and because we're in a constant state of learning, you know, we have new stuff, you know, every week to impart onto the kids. So without the staff that we have, without the dedication that we have, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
How do you feel about them, your child running with Coach Schultz?
Oh, that's the reason why we're running here, because of him.
Yeah. Is it more of a dedication to winning, or is it a situation where you know your child's in a good environment and they can still grow athletically?
Exactly what you said, both things. Coach Schultz has the ability to do everything that you said, and I believe in his experience, his expertise in track, and I'm very confident with him leading the team.
How important do you feel it is that the parents are involved with the whole process, with the whole team?
Well, as Coach said, you know, the kids don't have license, so we have to get the kids to and from practice. And you know, we have a very solid foundation for parents being involved with the whole organization, getting the kids to and from practice. As you can see in the track meet, our favorite saying is "Move Blue out front." So we have a great supporting staff with the family and the parents.
I know we talked about the parents being involved, but I guess you can kind of go in more in depth. How important is it that the parents are involved with your team?
Well, we constantly call parents out of the stands to do anything, whether it's doing different timing or whether it's starting or whatever. They are one thing, especially during the spring season. A lot of teams they have staff that bring them from the rec centers to practice, that can pick them up and take them home, and you know that's their job. Well, we have to rely on our parents. A lot of times they carpool. A lot of times, you know, they get off early. They do whatever it takes to get those kids there and to make sure they have what they need. It's a sacrifice. There's a lot to go involved, and it's a family affair. Track is a family affair because you can't just the child that's running. They're doing a lot. They're putting the effort in. But somebody has to make sure they have the proper shoes, the proper clothing. Somebody has to make sure that the registration's paid. Somebody has to make sure they get to practice, and that's an everyday occurrence. So it's vitally important for parents. And like I said, I know for a fact that we have the best parents in the state.
In 2005, you say you started with 5 kids.
Yes, we started with 5 kids.
2009, you go to GRPAs, set 7 state records, multiple state champions. What's next for Ben Hill?
Well, like I said, we really are. I mean, we might be a pretty big group right now, but we're still an up-and-coming program. We have a lot to learn, and there's a lot of established programs out there. This happened to be our year. We had a great season, but I do know that this goes in cycles. There's teams out there who are very good, and they're waiting. They're ready for the next year. They're gearing up for it already, and we plan to try to do the same thing. But we know the competition is out there and waiting. We have a lot to do, we have a lot to learn, and we're just going to keep on moving.